Welcome to this jewellery design in ZBrush. This is a feature from section 7 of the course, and in this section we'll be creating a fish ring. So we're going to do a bit of organic modelling like this, and we're going to be using quite a few methods for creating things like the scales on the outside, and obviously arcing it as well so that it fits over a ring to have a finished U-mesh of this like this. And we'll be using quite a few methods to get to this stage, and finally we're going to end up with this. So all of the design assets and everything else, like every other section, is included in the course for you to have a look at how it's all been put together. And you'll see this is the final result of our fish ring. So using all of the skills that we've learnt up to date, we're able to create something like this. So this is section 7 of the course. We'll be looking at a lot of techniques in here. We'll be creating a ring base and remeshing the ring base. We'll be adding a top part for the ring, okay, there for the fish to sit in. We'll be adding polygroups and edge loops for hard and soft flow on the edges of the ring itself. So you'll be looking at how you can do those sort of things. Be creating UVs or flattening this out for applying textures on as well. It's a common part of the process that I use during most sections is UV laying out. So be creating and applying the new map and generating extractions from it as well. Okay, be creating and applying an array. As you can see around the edge here, we've got this little pattern. This is actually an array that's shooting around the edge of the ring. It's done with one piece, and then we just create an array around the edge of it. So be adding extra Boolean subtractions. So we'll be adding extra Boolean subtractions to take away parts of the ring that we don't need. And we'll be sculpting the fish. This will take a little bit of time to sculpt the fish, and then creating a low poly model and projecting the detail to that, setting up the polygroups for the fish, and obviously placing it on the ring and creating one UV map for it. So there's a ton of key features being used on here, plus lots of stuff that you've done from the previous sections. So this is section 7 where we'll be creating this fish ring. And as you can probably tell, each section is getting a little bit more advanced as we go and a little bit more detailed. So as we go forwards, you're going to see more and more detail being added to these rings all the time, pushing your skills on from the previous lesson. So you're building and building and building until we get to a point where we know it all, and then I'm just going to do lots of complicated project files and say, look, that's what we're using an extraction method here, we're using an array here, we're using a Boolean subtraction here, we're polygrouping this area here, and this will all make sense because you've worked your way through all the sections to date. So this is the fish ring, and this is in section 7 of the course.